Still on?
Yeah.
Okay, I am sober.
Relax and I'll shoot my video. All right. Good day, everybody. We are going to do our Q&A video. This will be episode 2 on our Q&A series. And for those that are just coming on board, what I'm doing here is a series of Q&A videos because I get a lot of the same questions asked over and over and over. This way, instead of me continuing to answer those same questions over and over and over within the comment section, I refer them to the Q&A videos and I can just continue forward, right? This will be episode 2, and again, I'm going to go into this is Charlie. He's a Russian blue. He is a Russian blue. But anyway, we'll get right into this, and we're going to go into the next email on the list. And this one is coming from Shelly Mansfield. Shelly Mansfield, and she sent this July the 23rd, 2023, 2:49 p.m. And Shelly asks, I want to add a question concerning the relationship of Bigfoot and the people in the sky, the lights in the sky, what your elders have taught and spoke of. See you in the trees. Stay safe, Shelly. Okay. All right, the relationship, if there is a relationship between the Bigfoot and the lights in the sky, I do have a few stories for you. There's a couple of narratives being pushed out there pertaining to the lights we see, the crafts we see in the sky, and these Sasquatch. There's a good reason why people are trying to put the two of them into the same pea pod, right? Into the same boat. Keep your mind open, because I'm going to again answer these questions based on my own experience, what we've experienced here, and what I've learned from my parents and my elders and the stories of my ancestors. And there is something there that, especially with the storytelling and the legends that are taught through the Cree people, whether you're teaching a story or a tradition, a healing tradition, how to prepare medicine. There was a strict tradition and process of sharing knowledge and trading information. Songs was another thing. My mother taught me about how they used to trade a drum song, right? A tea dance song, a medicine song, drum song, or whether it was a story, a legend about the Sasquatch, or a legend about the lights in the sky, or a drum song, a medicine song. This is how it would go. Say one of you had a song, or a story, or a legend, or a way of preparing healing medicine for a certain ailment. I would come to you and I would trade for that information. I would come to you and I would trade for it. I would bring a horse, My mother told me sometimes they would trade a team of horses or a whole or a team of dogs, like sled dogs. Back in the day, it was horses and sleds. In the winter, they used the dog teams to travel here and there, and whether they were hunting or trapping, it was dog sleds and horses, or walking. Snowshoes. That was the big thing to travel in the snow. Everybody had a pair of snowshoes. I had a little pair when I was a little boy. My mom and dad had given me a tiny little pair. I used them. But my point being is that I would come to you. You were the one with the song, say, an old song. I would bring you a horse and ask you, would you teach me this song? Everything about that song would be taught to, the one who's coming to learn. And this is important to note, to remember. It will be a 4-day process. I would come to you, I'd trade my horse, you agreed to teach me the song, and I would stay with you for 4 days and 4 nights. And you will teach me that song. We will sing it nonstop for 4 days and 4 nights. You will teach me the proper way of drumming to that song. You will teach me everything, the melody, the rhythm, the story behind it, where it came from, the history of that one song. My mother talked about, there was elders that she grew up with that were just amazing storytellers. They would gather the children and the group or the clan, wherever they were staying. They could be at a hunting camp or just, where their base camp was with all their teepees. But they would go to the storyteller's teepee and he would tell stories. But he didn't just tell them. She told me that some of these storytellers acted these things out. They were very, very animated. They could do the voices. The children, she said, like she remembers being so caught up in these stories. But there too, the stories were passed on, and they would go and learn these stories from another storyteller for 3 or 4 nights to make sure that nothing was changed. And there's one tea dance song that my grandfather used to sing, and it was said that that song was 400 or 500 years old, and it was never changed. It was never sang different. It was always sung the same way because of the way you learned the song. 4 days and 4 nights, you are singing that song and learning that song, learning the story behind it, why it was made, or where the creator of that song got it from. He could have got it. The original singer or song maker may have received the song from a vision or from the ancestors through a vision or a dream. And there's everything about that one song was taught in those 4 days and nights. And the reason why I bring that up is because these stories that I was told or that the Native people know about all of the stuff that goes on here. And that's how things worked back in the day. So now, back to the question. Shelly asks what I know about the connection, if there is a connection between the Sasquatch and these lights that we see in the sky. The lights that we see in the sky, what I know and what I've been told, they've always been here. They are, some of the tribes call them sky people. They've always seen these lights and seen these crafts. There's old stories about them, but most of the stories are not so good, right? They were usually afraid of those lights. They were taught to be weary of them. There were certain groups of people that would hide. If those crafts and lights came, they would hide. They didn't want these beings to see them. This is where there's a twist in what you guys are all used to hearing. There's a lot that, like I had mentioned earlier, there are narratives being pushed, and people have, there's made-up theories. There's made-up ideas of a possible connection, or that I've heard the stories that these UFOs have dropped Bigfoot off. Or then I heard somebody shared a link with me, and there was a story of somebody was abducted and they seen Bigfoot in a craft as well, captured, right? Oh my goodness, there's a lot out there. Use caution. I would advise everybody to use caution of what you're listening to, and not to believe everything that you hear and see out there, because there are very good storytellers out there, and people will have a quick thought and a theory about it, and they will make up a story. They will make up a story to suit that, that idea or that theory, and they'll push it. And some people, just out of spite, will push it to see how far it can go. There are ones that are doing that, and they're writing books on it. They're writing books on human response, the human nature, right? On how people react and respond to these things. It's all free, but trust me, there's motives behind it all. There's motives, hidden motives and hidden agendas. It's all about the money, right? Just about everything that we're dealing with nowadays, it's all about money, fame, fortune, the money shot, the big money shot, especially within the Bigfoot community. Everybody's trying to get that money shot, right? And there are a lot of people that are faking it just to get that money. You always gotta really, really, if you see something, step back and really look at how it was presented and how they put it out there. Kind of got off of topic a little bit, but it's important. It all leads to what I want to tell you about the lights in the sky and the Sasquatch. So here, a few years back, we had lights showing up here near to the farm. And the one night, there was a set of 3 come up from the south, and for the ones that have been here, for a while, you know the place that I visit, the Bigfoot mud patch, right? That's where they were kind of graduating towards. They were coming from the south. They weren't very high. I would say maybe they were 200 to 300 feet up above the ground. And this was during my kidding season. My Boer goats were having their babies. So in that time period, when they're getting close to their due date, I'm up all night, and like 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, all night, right, to check on these does in case they go into labor. I need to be there. About 5 in the morning, my last check before daylight, on my way out, and I see these lights coming. I see these crafts coming from the south, and I'm like, oh my goodness, here they come, right? Because we've seen them over the years. I mean, everybody, I'm pretty sure most people have seen the lights in the skies, but as they got near to our farm, they start slowing down. And I'm standing there kind of in a daze watching these lights, and I'm thinking, they just don't. My first thought is like, I wish they wouldn't be here. I don't like them, right? I don't like them. All of a sudden, you could hear a rush of movement at that 2-mile location, and then some more coming from further south and east of where these lights are, coming towards those lights. You could hear it. It almost sounded like a rumble, right? A rumble, like you would hear a herd of buffalo running. That's the sound that start picking up in volume, right? One group, to me, it sounded like a group of buffalo coming from the west and a group coming from the east, and they were coming towards those lights. These were Sasquatch. These were Bigfoot, and they start doing this booming vocal type sound, and like you could feel the vibration in the air. As soon as they started to scream and do these sounds, those lights just up and north, they were out of here. They were gone. Everything settled down and everything went back to normal. It was like nothing happened. Okay, that's twice we've experienced that from them when these lights come, when these crafts come. And now I'm going to go to the reserve now, to my relatives and where we're from and where my ancestors lived and settled in that area. I heard from one of my cousins, my relatives. She was telling me They had these lights come into the community up there, onto the reserve and around that area. And they were very, very scared. They were freaked right out because these things were coming low. They were coming near houses, and it was about the second night around her house, these lights come, these crafts, right? And she said, all of a sudden out of the trees came the screams. And her too, and another one of my relatives said that the sound that these Sasquatch were making, they could feel the vibration in their chest. It's infrasound. It's got to be an infrasound, right? But the people were feeling it from the Sasquatch. These Bigfoot were creating this infrasound, sonic booming sound almost. And I experienced the same thing here. I explained it like 2 herds of buffalo coming. And it coincides with what we were told about them growing up and what we heard from the stories and the legends, that the Bigfoot are here. We're connected to them. I think in the past, people understood the connection with the Sasquatch and some of these other cryptids that are out there, some of these other beings. We're all here together, and those Sasquatch are protecting us. That's where the legends come in. I was told that they're here guarding. They guard, they watch, they protect, and keep these things from coming and harming us. And I want to add this in here too. A lot of people have mixed emotions and mixed ideas and theories about, these crafts and these lights in the sky. And I mean, it's all over the board. I think the one thing that we can all agree on is that whatever they're doing, and if they're doing anything with us or to us, it's rapine, right? It's against our will. If we were to compare that behavior with our Creator, who is about love and about freedom of choice, He has always given us a choice. Biggest, most wonderful gift He could have ever given us is the freedom to choose. He's not going to come and abduct you, take you in your sleep, torture you, torment you, take what He wants from you. So we are looking at 2 opposite ends of a spectrum here. Good versus evil, right? Evil takes when it wants, does what it wants, and doesn't matter if you want it or not. Your freedom of choice is taken from you, and that's what these things are doing. I've always heard from my mother and the elders and the legends. This is some of the things that the Bigfoot have done. They've helped and saved the people on numerous occasions, but they get a bad rap, right? People want to put them in that monster category there too. It's just a whole bunch of false narratives and people making up stuff. They really, really, truly, we have to be very careful what we're taking in and what we believe. There is so much information out there, and we have to be careful. I would just say, be very careful and question what we're hearing and what we're seeing, right? Because I think right now too, with AI, the artificial intelligence, with the AI coming into play here with everything, it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. So, but that's what I know. I know, and I believe this because I've witnessed it. This is based on my own personal experience. These Bigfoot are protecting us and fighting for us, probably on more than just this realm. And I think there are constant battles and wars going on, good and bad, right? Good against evil, positive against the negative. They are happening, and we probably don't see them. I think we get glimpses of them every once in a while. And I sometimes think, if you all remember Misha Scar, that I have been able to capture a couple times now in my videos, that might be where these scars are coming from, right? From these battles, from these fights. And there is a connection, but it isn't the connection that people are being told, and conditioning people to think of these things in a certain way. When it's pushed to that level, to that degree, it's constantly hitting you in the same kind of narrative, rhetoric, It's to brainwash you. It's to condition you to think of something in a certain way, and there's usually an agenda behind it. Like I say, for those that are paying attention, understand this. They do know this. I know that. I understand how this is taking place. They are here to help. They are here to protect. And with anybody that's ever seen them and been able to look them in the eye and have that closeness with them will tell you it is literally like looking at a human being staring back at you. I know some of the hunter stories where they've had one in their sight, in their scope, and they've seen the eyes, and it's like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, no, I can't. There's no way. There's no way they could pull that trigger, because it was almost like looking into a human face. One of my pet peeves is all these computer-generated images and AI images, and they're always popping that gorilla nose onto the Sasquatch, right? The monkey nose and the mouth and everything, and there are some pretty good black rubber shiny looking masks out there just for everybody to know. And they don't look like that. They do not. If you've ever seen them, if you've ever had a chance to get a glimpse of their face, like I said earlier about the hunters and people that have, had one in their sight, and in their mind they were actually thinking they were going to shoot because they got scared. They were scared, again, in the conditioned view that's being pushed on everybody, that these are monsters, they're dangerous, they're killers, they're, down that line of thinking. It's trigger sensitive because they have these conditioned views put in their head. I believe they don't want to harm us, and they don't want to cause us any ill will or misfortune. That's why they stay hidden, folks. That's why they stay out of sight. That's why it's very difficult to capture them or see them, hear them. Again, I really believe that if they did not want me to hear, see, or know them, I wouldn't. The majority of people see nothing. They don't experience anything. Nothing. I've talked to people, men that have been in the bush and hunt for years, and they've never experienced anything. But what's interesting is the personalities of these hunters, of these people. They're different, right? They're a different bunch. They're a different sort. And if I was a Bigfoot, putting myself in a Bigfoot perspective, looking at humans, I would stay away from those individuals as well. I wouldn't even let them know that I was there, because they're the type that would just shoot and ask questions later. But anyway, that's what I know about the connection between the Sasquatch and the crafts in the sky. Both of them have always been here, and it's always been the Sasquatch chasing them off and protecting us from them, from the lights, from those sky people. Yep. Man, I sure went off on that one. But anyway, Shelly, I hope I answered that question to your liking. I will end this episode 2 Q&A question, and we'll call this, is there a relationship between the Bigfoot and the sky people? Be careful what we're hearing and what we're watching and what we're being bombarded with. Things are going to get weird. They're going to get very strange, and it's going to be hard to tell what is real and what isn't. All right, my friends, I will leave it there. So everybody take care again. If there's anybody that has any questions or just wants to hear my idea and theories on something, or keep it focused on the subject of Sasquatch and Bigfoot or cryptids or what have you, and I will try to answer them in the best way that I can. All right. Everybody take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the trees. Bye for now.